Learn to fight. Yo, John Fitch here, and I got another episode of Learn to Fight for you. And now we are in the girls' locker room, and we have a couple girls squaring off. Somebody was talking smack about somebody, and there's a confrontation. One of the first things you'll notice is poor space management. The video begins with them, they're chest to chest, looking at each other and smelling each other's lunch. Way too close. You got no barriers up, no fence, nothing in between you and them. That's a mistake. Starts off with a mistake. And then this is a situation where I don't know who's the aggressor, who started it, why, so I don't know if it's like a bullying situation even. You'll see it's not always smart to just throw the first strike, just to hit first. If you do feel you have to, you don't have a resort other than the punch first, you got to make it a good one. Because if that other person is more serious about beating you up or better at beating you up and you waste the opportunity to do something first, you can make pay for it. I think this girl in this video, the blonde, is definitely getting paid for striking first and not doing anything with it. Girl in the white shirts, in her face, talking. As they back up, she creates a little space, slap. And then girl in the white shirt goes bananas and bounces her head off all the lockers. You'll notice that a little bit of grappling experience would have absolutely helped either one of them out. This is one of those situations where with girls, a lot of times they get to the top of that knot in their bun or the hair, and they're able to break posture with that really easily and create a lot of problems. We'll watch this video so you guys can see some of the details I'm talking about. See that they're face to face having words. White girl, white shirt, backing up the blonde, being aggressive, and then bam, there's a slap. The blonde girl hit her first, but she lost position, she lost her posture, got pulled down to the ground. There's a little bit of blood splatter here. And then she continues that grip. She maintains a good grip of that hair, continues to break posture, pull her around, and use the other hand to do damage. This is a good tactic, good technique. She set a hook, used the hook to break her posture. That's one of the things we want to win in a fight is posture. We want to keep our posture and break theirs. She can use that posture break to create angles. There's strength in those angles, and that sets up her ability to land punches. She lands a lot of them. I don't even know where that blood was coming from. She probably banged her head somewhere and had some blood. Your head bleeds so much, man. There's a lot of blood circulating in the skin in your dome. Got a little mount position here. If Blondie would have had some jiu-jitsu, she might have been able to oompa, trade positions. When girl in the white shirt stood straight up, there was potential to use some spider guard to sweep, but she had no idea what she was doing. So my advice here, the second she wants to have words with you, I'm here. I'm having a conversation like this. What do you need to say? What's the problem? Oh, okay. I see. I want to be here because I'm able to keep space and keep them away from me. And they're going to have to aggressively come over that little fence to do something. If they make an aggressive movement, then it's a go. It's a green light for me to defend myself with justifiable use of force in the back of my mind. Back of my mind, because you're defending yourself. We want to keep ourselves out of legal troubles, but it's more important not to get killed. We don't want to get killed. Yep, breaking posture, dragging her, and doing damage with the free hand. It's using the hair, I guess, is cheating, but there's no rules in a street fight. It's no different than MMA fight, you fight for hand positions, you fight to dominate, and it's best to be able to keep at least one free hand because then you're able to hit and throw elbows whenever you can. This girl just broke posture and put herself in the dominant positions to where she could just keep throwing that monkey punch. She could have broke her hand though, because those aren't technical punches. She's landing with a lot of the side of the small bones. But this is an indication, I don't know indication, but this is one small example of where throwing the first punch goes wrong. Because who knows? I don't know enough about the story. Maybe this wouldn't have gotten into a physical altercation without the slap. Maybe they just needed to be heard. Maybe they just wanted to yell, and that was enough. But the slap came, escalation. That escalated it. Besides getting the hands up, that's the other thing you can do. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to upset you. Just try to talk them down. If you're gonna take that advice of throwing the first punch, you better make sure you know how to do it. You had better make sure you know how to throw that punch, for sure. Yeah, you don't want to be throwing the first punch and it doing nothing. That may have escalated a situation that didn't need to be escalated. Having a strong foundational hand fighting system and ability, I think, is very useful. I highly encourage everyone to train and have it. It doesn't take a lot of work to be able to dominate a knowledgeable less person, someone who doesn't know what they're doing. My practical self-defense course is all hand fighting, getting to 2-on-1, underhooks, head control stuff. Easy to learn. You don't have to be a super athlete to do them. A little bit takes you a long way. Something like that, where you get your hands in front of you, and if they are pressing you, you can get to a position where they're not going to hurt you, and you can prevent them from hurting themselves. And everybody will be a little bit better off for it. And if you have to turn the level up to increase the violence, that's something you can do too. We can add that in too, all right? But you guys got to be training something. You got to be learning something. Don't let people into your space. There's no reason for them to be in your space. You can be over there, right? You can be over there, buddy. I can hear you. I'm not deaf. I can hear you. Use your words. We don't need to be, close enough to smell each other. That's close enough. I don't need to be any more than 6 feet away from you. Most times, I'm gonna get my hands up. I'm not gonna have my hands in my pockets, not behind my back. Hands are up. I'm alert. I'm attentive. They're right here. I'm not gonna show knuckles. Right? I'm gonna either give the peace hands, or I can pull myself a little Steven Seagal right here. You doing the Mr. Burns, anything where your elbows are in front of you and your hands are up in a ready position. You can do one of these things to whatever, man. I've heard, I think GSP was saying he would do something like this if he felt uncomfortable with somebody's presence, because now his hands were up. It's not bad. Anything you do to do that, get your hands ready. Don't have them by your side. And then if you really feel like you need to do the first thing, I teach my students, you don't hit them first, but if they close that space, if they're too close to you, we go hands on. I'm gonna look elbow control, 2-on-1, put them in the locker. Like, hey man, I'm not throwing hands with you right now. You can chill out, or I can tell everybody else to go get the teacher if you're in school. If I can wait for police or security, and that's what it takes, that's what it takes. Because I don't want to have to escalate something and then deal with being sued. It's just where we live today, and it can be extremely expensive, and putting yourself like $15,000-$20,000 in debt because you hit somebody that you thought was gonna attack you. That kind of sucks. And I think you can do an even better job of defending yourself if you learn some hand fighting stuff, right? I'm not going to say, oh, never hit anybody ever. No. I'm just saying there are levels. And you want to do avoidance first. You absolutely want to do avoidance. You want to have situational awareness and leave places of danger before they get dangerous. You want to be able to create space from anything that might be a threat. If you get into a confrontation, you couldn't avoid something, you want to de-escalate. You want to do your best to de-escalate. Agree and amplify can work. Making jokes, bringing up some other subject to change the subject or get people's attention onto something else. Those are all strategies that can work to completely avoid any type of conversation at all. You don't need to. But if you get backed into a corner, we go hand fighting, striking, and then force amplifiers. I think we kind of follow that structure. A lot of times, having a force amplifier can also be the de-escalation because you pull out a can of pepper spray and people change their minds sometimes. That's enough. I've had clients tell me about how they're being sized up by somebody and they, pull their shirt back, nonchalantly so that they can see that they have a knife on them in their belt line, and then that potential threat moves away. I don't know if you really want to, like, open carry. I've been in Vegas when there was open carry, and I can guarantee that's a deterrent. I don't think anybody's going to be, like, looking at people with guns in their hips and be like, I can get this guy. This concealed carry, you never know. You never know when those guys have it. I don't think it's probably smart to do concealed carry and then flash it to people. But if you have someone coming at you and you're able to get it and be ready, that can be a deterrent too. So I think it's just levels to the things, man. We want to avoid, we want to stay away. And then if we can subdue because we couldn't de-escalate, I think that's a good option. And then if that's not enough, we may have to escalate into strikes. And if we have force amplifier that we can use, that may have to happen if the strikes don't work, or if we don't, or we want to avoid the strikes altogether. They throw a couple punches at me and I create space to get away. Instead of going back into the fray and trading with them, I reach for my fanny pack and I pull out my pepper gel. I think that is a far safer course of action for both of us, because he's going to go down with a lot less injury from that pepper gel than he is if I decide to actually hit him. That makes sense? All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe if you haven't. All right, guys. I'll check you later.